Hey guys, Jack here. Today we're bittersweetly jumping into the second and third issues of Dragon Age Dark Fortress. The end is here for this amazing comic run, and we've got plenty of lore to dissect, as well as many tears to shed. If you're not already caught up, I've broken down the first issue in a separate video, so you can check that video out. If you've already read the second and third issues for yourself, well, I guarantee you I've spotted a few things that you've probably missed. So let's delve straight into the huge, juicy lore drops revealed in the final issues of Dark Fortress. The gang's arrival at Castellum Tenebris. Issue 2 opened up with Sir Aaron, Vea, Fenris, Marius, Tessa, Francesca and Autumn's arrival at Castellum Tenebris, the dark fortress that is eponymous to this comic run. The gang's intention has been to stop the Venatori's wicked ritual and seize their red Lyrium artifacts and weapons. Considering the gang couldn't use the fortress's bridge without immediately being sighted or killed by Venatori, Vea crossed the fortress's bridge by parkouring underneath its structure and reaching the stronghold. She found Nenealeus's hidden entrance and let the rest of the gang inside. As they entered the fortress, they each prepared to face the Venatori, stopping their ritual to create a Red Wraith using the sarcophagus with red Lyrium. Fenris explained the few things he remembered when he was imbued with Lyrium tattoos through the sarcophagus in preparation for what the Venatori might do with Shiralis's transformation. He shared that a sword laced with Lyrium was put into the device in order for it to work. Marius exclaimed that the Magisters will be using a red Lyrium imbued weapon this time around. Fenris went on to say that, among other things, his ritual was bombarded with magic. He suspected that fire magic was used for his transformation. He suggested that the group should watch out for the red Lyrium imbued sword and any mages involved in the ritual. They could be the key to stopping it outright. However, when the gang arrived at the ritual sanctum, they never expected to see an imprisoned dragon that would be used as a catalyst for Shiralis's Red Wraith transformation. They each split up to focus on the Venatori and to free the dragon, when suddenly even more chaos erupted from outside. The Qunari Antaam's invasion. The Qunari Antaam laid waste to the eastern Tevinter city, Nenealeus. Since the first issue, their focus has been on seizing Castellum Tenebris to stop a powerful magical ritual and kill everyone in the fortress. Tractus Denarius, otherwise known as Denarius the Lesser, was held captive by the Qun, until he recently escaped their grasp in the second issue. The Qunari leader, Castellum, told his fellow Qunari that they're bringing the entirety of the Qunari Antaam down on Castellum Tenebris. And they weren't bluffing. The Antaam arrived with weapons of artillery blasting at the fortress's gate as soldiers stormed the bridge. Their conquest has begun. The Dragon and the Red Wraith. Magister Nenealeus, Professor Marquette and Shiralis's prepared for their ritual as both the Qunari and our heroes invaded the fortress. Marquette examined the red Lyrium imbued sword that would be inserted into the sarcophagus for Shiralis's transformation. This red Lyrium sword was crafted from the infamous red Lyrium idol. After the sword is used to transform Shiralis, its purpose will be to infuse him. Marquette reminded Nenealeus about the deal they made. Marquette is supposed to keep the red Lyrium idol for studying purposes after this experiment is over. As the Qunari laid siege, Nenealeus demanded that this ritual begin now. At that exact moment, the gang made their moves. Vea and Fenris attempted to free the dragon. Sir Aaron targeted Marquette, Marius faced Nenealeus, and Francesca killed a few mages with her vine magic. Francesca then attempted to destroy the sarcophagus. Nonetheless, in a sudden flash, the Qunari destroyed parts of the fortress. Chaos emerged across the stronghold, and Shiralis slashed Francesca's magical vine that was about to conceal the sarcophagus. Shiralis then entered the sarcophagus as Marquette placed the red Lyrium sword in place. The dragon's shackles were broken by Fenris and Vea with the intention of it fleeing the scene. Instead, Nenealeus discovered that Denarius the Lesser bound the beast with magic. As he raised his sword and used magic, the dragon obeyed him and rained fire on the sarcophagus, setting the ritual in motion. Upon the ritual's completion, the Red Wraith was born. Shiralis. Issue 3 opened up by revealing more of Shiralis's backstory before he aligned himself with Magister Nenealeus and became the Red Wraith. His clan was burned to the ground and he remained one of the only survivors. At a young age he was taken in by another clan and marked with Elganan's Valisleen as he began his journey to adulthood. Shiralis joined up with Fenris on a quest to free elves from their bindings. On one mission to recover elven slaves destined for Magister Nenealeus' estate, Shiralis switched places with with one of the slaves as Nenealeus decided to take Solas in and train him to become a powerful mage killer. Years since, Solas became a powerful peripate under Nenealeus and the remaining Venatori. In the present day, Solas became the Red Wraith with a powerful red Lyrium infused sword. Magister Nenealeus declared that with the Red Wraith and the dragon under his command, they were ready to lead the Venatori to victory. The Qunari would be the first to feel their wrath and soon the rest of the world. The Qunari Arrangement. The Qunari Antaam continued their assault on the front gates of Castellum Tenebris with the intention of killing everyone inside the fortress. However, Fenris and Veya approached Castellum, striking a deal with the Qunari. They agreed that the Qun could kill every single mage inside except Francesca. With that arrangement, the Qunari Antaam joined forces with the gang and slaughtered many of the Venatori inside the fort. With the Qun's help, Fenris focused on fighting the Red Wraith, while Sir Aaron turned his attention to the dragon. Autumn landed a perfect attack on the Red Wraith as Fenris flanked his old friend with a chest stab. While the Red Wraith was down, Francesca dropped a lit Colosseum on top of him and used her vine magic to ensnare the Red Wraith and the dragon. Marius versus Magister Nenealeus. In an epic standoff, Marius faced off against his mentor, Magister Nenealeus. As Marius confronted him, the Red Wraith erupted from the rubble and returned to the fight. Nenealeus said that the Red Wraith can heal from any wound. He then offered Marius a choice: surrender and serve alongside the Venatori, or die. Marius charged at Nenealeus and threw a trap targeted for hurting mages. Nenealeus laughed at his attempt and electrocuted Marius. While Marius was stunned and Nenealeus was focusing on killing Marius, Veya jumped on the Magister's back and stabbed him with 2 daggers in his neck, killing him almost immediately. This was Veya's first confirmed kill, and it was absolutely worth it. As soon as Nenealeus dropped to the floor, his dragon became confused, no longer under his spell. Francesca released her vine magic chains from the beast as it fled the scene. She used her magic on the sarcophagus, plunging the device into the depths of the earth. There'd only be one Red Wraith to deal with for now: the Red Wraith and his sword. With the discovery that the Red Wraith can heal from any wound, the gang prepared to face an impossible fight against him. Marquette offered advice against the Red Wraith, having felt the convictions of his experiment. He only wanted to see what the artifacts and weapons did, but he never meant to create a monster. He said that the key to stopping the Red Wraith lies within his sword. He feeds energy to the sword through the red Lyrium in his veins, and in turn, the sword heals his wounds. Without that sword, he could be defeated. Instantly, Sir Aaron knew what must be done. He charged at the Red Wraith and fought vehemently against him. The Red Wraith stabbed Sir Aaron in the middle of his chest. As he did, Sir Aaron used his own sword and cut the Red Wraith's hands off. With the red Lyrium sword still in Aaron's gut, he fell backwards against the castle walls and fell to the depths of the fortress, separating the sword from the Red Wraith at the cost of his own life. The Red Wraith, unable to recover from his brutal wounds, was in shock, having had his hands cut clean off. Autumn, infuriated with the loss of Sir Aaron, bit the living crap out of the Red Wraith's leg. He stumbled to the ground as Fenris then slashed his head clean off. No longer was Solas a friend of Fenris, if he ever was. The gang's farewell. Marius and Tessa trekked ahead to find Sir Aaron's body. They arrived below the fortress with Qunari soldiers already waiting. They reminded them of their bargain, that the Qun were to keep this fortress for themselves, and the gang had to leave immediately. Marius and Tessa left the fortress on horseback as Veya and Autumn confronted Sir Aaron one final time as he shared his final words. He was sorry that Veya had to take a life, and he hopes that it will never be easy for her to do so in the future. Sir Aaron had a letter in his pocket he wanted her to see. It was a letter for King Alistair requesting him to make Veya a knight. She only had to give it to him. Sir Aaron was assured he would do it. He faded away as the group mourned the loss of a beloved friend. Sometime later, the gang discussed what's next. Francesca believed that the Lyrium sarcophagus will never be found again because of how deep it is beneath the earth. Fenris suggested that the sword should be taken to the Inquisition. Veya said she couldn't join them because she needed to take Sir Aaron's body back to Portsmouth so he could be buried with his family. Fenris and Francesca insisted on joining Veya with that endeavour. She was his family after all. Veya and Francesca rode Cass, Sir Aaron's horse, as Fenris and Autumn followed just behind him. As they each set off to Portsmouth, Veya retold the story of how Sir Aaron came to ride Cass in the first place. Marius and Tessa took a quick break from riding as they recalled their adventure with the gang. Obliviously or not, the two were standing in front of an Alluvian as a familiar figure watched and listened through his own Alluvian in an undisclosed location. The Red Lyrium idol and Solas. After Marquette told the gang how to defeat the Red Wraith, he fled the scene with one of their horses. Somewhere outside of Tenebris, Nenealeus the Lesser found and taunted Marquette with magic, and asked him for the Red Lyrium idol. Marquette suggested that it belonged in a museum, but after Nenealeus intimidated him, he handed it over and said that he doesn't think it does anything anymore. Nenealeus didn't care about its power, he just wanted it to impress the Venatori. After retrieving the idol, Nenealeus was also being watched through an Alluvian by the Dreadwolf himself, no doubt looking for his idol. Given that Dark Fortress is pre-Tevinter Nights, perhaps Nenealeus the Lesser is the exact mage from House Nenealeus in the Dreadwolf Take You short story, the very mage who took the Red Lyrium idol to the Mortalitasi in Navarra for a ritual to stop the Qunari invasion. Given Nenealeus' reasoning for acquiring the idol, stopping the Qunari would certainly impress the Venatori. In any event, the Red Lyrium idol has seemingly not been acquired by Solas yet. However, he is on the hunt and catching up to retrieving it at any point, given his Alluvian network and pool of spies. It seems like it's only a matter of time before he acquires it again. Dark Fortress superbly ended on a face reveal of Solas with the caption, "Never the end." Perhaps this is a tease for a future comic series, or simply for the next games when we come face to face with Solas. I hope for a mix of both, because I have loved Nunzio's, Christina's and everyone who's worked incredibly hard at Dark Horse on this amazing comic run, and I would love to see more comics from them in the future. I really hope BioWare give them more comics, because they've been nothing but remarkable. But if this is truly the end, then so be it. I've loved every single second of these comics, especially Dark Fortress, with the amount of payoff that's been delivered to each character. And yes, of course, the Solas reveal does make it all a bit more exciting, but for me, the juicy lore drops that have been added, the tie-ins to Tevinter Nights, and the epic character journeys and developments have made this entire comic run since Knight Errant top-notch and full circle. If nothing else, there's got to be a Vega and Autumn cameo in the next Dragon Age. They both deserve it. Anyhow, let me know all your thoughts on Dark Fortress and the entire comic run as a whole. I would love to know what you've been thinking. Which characters have you enjoyed the most? How did you feel about the Dreadwolf reveal at the end? And what stories would you like to see explored in potential future comics? For any potential future comics or news on the upcoming Dragon Age, you're already in the right place. If you'd like to join my lovely Dragon Age Discord community or get some other perks from myself, like early access to scripts, why not check out my channel memberships on the homepage of my channel. But even so, until the next one, I have been Jackdaw, and I should go. Whoa, 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 whoa.